Days of Our Lives spoil April 29th. Heartbreak, betrayal, and bitter truths rock Salem in the tangled, often unforgiving world of Days of Our Lives. Tuesday, April 29th brings a storm of shattered hearts, painful betrayals, and complicated choices, especially among Salem's younger generation and the ever-powerful Kiriakis family. Holly breaks Tate's heart, then tries to control it first. Heartbreak strikes young love. Holly Jonas, Ashley Puzimis, has officially broken up with Tate Black, Leo Howard. Their relationship, once full of youthful hope and stolen moments of sweetness, crumbles under the heavy weight of betrayal, or at least what Holly perceives as betrayal. Tate's so-called crime? Telling the truth. Tate, ever the earnest young man, discovered that Doug Williams, Peyton Meyer, beloved patriarch to many in Salem, had been stealing. It wasn't a misunderstanding. It wasn't a mistake. Doug was stealing, plain and simple. And yet, when Tate informed Julie Williams, Susan Seaforth Hayes, thinking it was the right thing to do, Holly exploded in anger. In her eyes, loyalty to friends and family, even when they are clearly in the wrong, matters more than honesty. Tate's good deed, done out of a sense of decency, turned him into the villain in Holly's mind. She broke things off, insisting she wanted nothing more to do with Tate. Or so she said. Because even as she pushed him away, Holly's actions screamed something else entirely. While she doesn't want Tate for herself anymore, she certainly doesn't want him moving on either. The thought of Tate spending time with another girl, any girl, sends her blood boiling. Especially Sophia Rachel Boyd. Tate and Sophia, a new connection sparks fury. Tate, hurting and lonely, naturally found comfort elsewhere. Sophia, sweet and kind, didn't judge him. She didn't berate him for doing what he thought was right. She didn't demand that he compromise his values. Instead, she listened. She cared. And now, Tate and Sophia are drawing closer together. They share a bond, a tender connection that seems destined to grow stronger, especially given the life-changing situation they now face together. They're expecting a child. This revelation, raw, real, and overwhelming for two young hearts, only intensifies Holly's resentment. She can't believe Tate had the audacity to move on, much less with someone like Sophia. To Holly, Sophia's kindness is almost an insult. It reminds her of everything she lost when she pushed Tate away. And then comes the final dagger. Tate invited Sophia to the prom. How dare he? How dare he show kindness to someone else? How dare he prioritize a future with a girl who stood by him over the wreckage of a false friendship built on lies? Holly can hardly contain her fury. She lashes out internally, mourning what she destroyed but unable to admit her own role in the fallout. Meanwhile, poor Doug, the man who set this disastrous chain of events in motion with his own bad choices, continues to have bad days that everyone else is somehow expected to excuse. In Holly's mind, Doug is the victim. Not Tate, who simply tried to do the right thing. Not Sophia, caught in the crossfire. Somehow, truth itself has become the enemy. Doug's troubles deepen. Meanwhile, Doug's troubles only grow darker. There are whispers around town that Maggie Horton Kiriakis, Suzanne Rogers, may have discovered Doug lurking in the Kiriakis mansion, trying once again to avoid the consequences of his actions. Doug, once a pillar of the community, is now trapped in a web of his own making. His lies, his thefts, his increasingly erratic behavior, none of it can be explained away anymore. And those who once loved and trusted him are being forced to choose sides. Maggie calls out Philip's betrayal while chaos brews among the young. The Kiriakis family faces its own share of betrayal and scandal. Maggie Horton Kiriakis, always the embodiment of grace under pressure, finds herself standing at a crossroads. Today, she makes a bold move, calling out Philip Kiriakis, Jean-Paul Lavoisier, for his stunning deception. Philip, once a golden boy, has fallen far from grace. His crime? Lying about Victor Kiriakis, the late, great John Aniston, final wishes for Titan Industries. Victor, the patriarch who built an empire with his blood, sweat, and ruthless cunning, deserved better than to have his legacy tarnished by one of his own. And Maggie, his widow, his confidant, won't let the truth be buried. She confronts Philip with quiet fury, blending her signature kindness with a righteous indignation that brooks no excuses. She doesn't scream. She doesn't threaten. Instead, she speaks plainly, her disappointment cutting deeper than any raised voice ever could. Philip, shaken and ashamed, can barely lift his head. Meanwhile, Sarah Horton, Lindsay Godfrey, Maggie's daughter, watches from the sidelines, hiding secrets of her own. Sarah's lies threaten everything. Sarah, once known for her impulsive heart and boundless compassion, has fallen into a dangerous pattern, lying to her husband, Xander cook Paul Telfer. While Xander bears his soul, laying his fears, hopes, and dreams at Sarah's feet, she holds back. She guards a secret so significant that, once revealed, it could shatter their fragile happiness. Maggie, ever perceptive, sees the cracks forming. She knows Sarah isn't being fully honest. Yet, curiously, her anger seems reserved for Philip alone. Is this maternal bias? Does a mother's love blind her to her own child's faults, even as she ruthlessly calls out another's? It's a painful double standard, but it's also deeply human. And in Salem, humanity is always messy, complicated, and heartbreakingly real. Xander's heartbreak, a man betrayed again. Meanwhile, Xander, sweet, broken Xander, continues to cling to hope. He believes, perhaps naively, that love and loyalty will be enough to overcome any obstacle. He doesn't see the full truth yet, but he feels the growing distance between him and Sarah, and it gnaws at him. Every look she avoids, every hesitation in her voice, drives another splinter into his battered heart. Xander, who has fought so hard to become a better man, to earn respect, love, and family, now faces the cruelest betrayal of all, being kept in the dark by the one person he trusted most. For Maggie, who adores Xander as if he were her own son, the situation is unbearable. She knows he deserves better. She knows he deserves truth. And when that truth finally comes out, as it always does in Salem, it will leave scars that may never fully heal. Next, Days of Our Lives spoilers. Week of April 28th to May 2nd. Passion, betrayal, family scandals, and desperate gambles shake Salem to its core as another week dawns over the town of Salem. Familiar faces find themselves tangled in an even tighter web of passion, betrayal, heartache, and high-stakes gambles. The week of April 28th through May 2nd promises to be one of the most emotionally charged in Days of Our Lives history, with life-altering decisions and shocking twists at every turn. Chad and Kat, a night that changes everything. Chad DiMera, Billy Flynn, has been a man on a mission lately, working tirelessly to protect his family's interests and secure a future worthy of their name. However, nothing could prepare him for the unexpected curveball that Kat, guest star, is about to throw his way. Kat, always known for her spirited independence and mischievous charm, will catch Chad completely off guard this week. After a $1 million charity date that Chad shares with the gracious and ever-wise Maggie Kyriakis, Suzanne Rogers, takes an unexpected detour. It is Kat who ends up spending the evening with him. The chemistry between Chad and Kat has been simmering for weeks, quietly intensifying with every accidental brush of hands and lingering glance. And on this fateful night, when emotions are high and the stars seem to conspire, Kat may find herself unable to resist temptation. Whispers across Salem suggest that Kat could lean in for a kiss, one that could change everything for both of them. Will Chad reciprocate? Will this single moment spark a love story they never saw coming? Or will it tear open old wounds that have barely healed? One thing is certain, after this night, nothing between Chad and Kat will ever be the same. Tate's fury boils over. Johnny feels the heat elsewhere in town. Another relationship teeters on the brink of explosion. Tate Black, Leo Howard, feeling betrayed and heartbroken over recent events, lashes out at Johnny DiMera, Carson Boatman, in a confrontation that could turn violent. The catalyst for Tate's anger? The failed adoption that shattered Sophia Choi's, Rachel Boyd, dreams of finding a loving family for her unborn child. Johnny, plagued by second thoughts and uncertainty, backed out of the adoption arrangement, sending Sophia's hopes crashing down and leaving Tate furious on her behalf. Their clash will be brutal, raw, and messy. Tate, young and impulsive, will attack Johnny, blaming him not just for Sophia's heartbreak, but for disrupting a future that could have offered stability to an innocent child. In the aftermath, Sophia is left scrambling, emotionally devastated, as she must start all over again in her desperate search for a family willing to adopt her baby. Sophia versus Amy, a mother's obsession reignites. The tension doesn't stop there. Sophia's troubled relationship with her mother, Amy Choi Shirna Nielsen, flares up once more. Amy, unable to let go of her own dreams of grandmotherhood and family legacy, pressures Sophia and Tate to reconsider keeping the baby. Amy's fixation borders on obsession. In her mind, Sophia and Tate raising the child together would solve everything. Restoring honor, securing a bright future, and knitting their fractured family back together. But Amy's pressure could push Sophia even further away, complicating an already painful situation beyond repair. Johnny and Chanel's marriage on shaky ground. Johnny's personal life spirals further out of control. His rash decisions surrounding the adoption and his growing emotional distance start to strain his marriage to Chanel Dupree DiMera, Raven Bowens. Chanel, already wounded by Johnny's lack of openness, finds it harder and harder to trust her husband. Secrets fester and resentment builds. Their once bright future now hangs in the balance as doubt creeps into every shared glance and whispered conversation. And worse may be coming for Johnny. Susan Banks' shocking suspicion. Susan Banks, Stacey Hayduke. The ever-quirky yet strangely insightful matriarch makes a discovery that could rock the DiMera family to its core. She begins to suspect that Johnny may be involved in an even darker secret, that he could be the mysterious gunman connected to E.J. DiMera's, Dan Feuerriegel, ongoing troubles. If Susan is right, and if the truth comes to light, Johnny won't just lose his marriage, he could lose everything. His family's trust, his freedom, even his very future. E.J.'s sinister orders. Meanwhile, E.J. DiMera is pulling strings behind the scenes with his usual ruthlessness. In a chilling move, E.J. summons Rita Leslie, Maggie Carney, a woman known for her willingness to get her hands dirty for the right price. Without hesitation, E.J. gives Rita a secret, dangerous order. The nature of the task remains shrouded in mystery for now, but knowing E.J., it's bound to involve betrayal, manipulation, and a heavy cost for anyone who stands in his way. Rita, ever loyal so long as the money flows, prepares to carry out his bidding, setting another dark plot into motion. Bo Brady's fight for life and Sean's desperate gamble in one of the week's most heartbreaking storylines. Bo Brady, Peter Reckel, continues to fight for his life. A miracle drug that could save him exists, but bureaucracy and red tape have slammed the door shut. Dr. Jeffrey Russell, Michael Dietz, citing regulations and risks, blocks Kayla Johnson, Mary Beth Evans, from obtaining the life-saving medication for her brother. But Sean Brady, Brandon Beamer, refuses to accept defeat. With Bo slipping away before his eyes, Sean decides he will stop at nothing to save his father, even if it means breaking the law. In a desperate act of love and rebellion, Sean teams up with the ever-resourceful Steve Patch Johnson, Stephen Nichols. Together, they hatch a dangerous plan to steal the miracle drug and give Bo the fighting chance he deserves. Will they succeed? Or will their risky mission end in tragedy? Xander and Alex plot revenge against Philip. Back in the corporate war zone, Xander cook Paul Telfer is plotting a bold and vengeful move. Having nursed his wounds after years of betrayal and backstabbing, Xander is ready to strike back. He joins forces with Alex Kyriakis, Robert Scott Wilson, to devise a plan that would finally oust Philip Kyriakis, Jean-Paul Lavoisier, from Titan Industries. Their strategy? Remove Philip without destabilizing Titan's ongoing efforts to take over DiMera Enterprises, a delicate balancing act that requires cunning, precision, and more than a little ruthlessness. For Xander, it's about more than just corporate power. It's about revenge, justice, and reclaiming the respect and legacy he's long been denied. Final thoughts: a week of shocking turns and deep emotions.